When, if ever, do I talk about the blends within our company blending room? The answer to that is never, but today is going to be different. This is Jones. It is my idea of a contemporary espresso blend. It can also be drunk as a well-developed, lovely, thick and syrupy filter coffee. And in this video, what I'm going to do is describe the roast profiles. I will taste this as a filter coffee, and I'll also then tell you how you may be able to brew it at home from espresso through to cold brew. So let's dig into the profiles. I should pause a moment before I get into the profiles and describe to you how I put this blend together and why. It is comprised of two components: Pantano, which is a natural process yellow Bourbon from Brazil, and La Bolsa, which is a washed Couture and Bourbon blend from Guatemala. The idea with the Pantano is to add base, texture and body. And because it's from Brazil, I should be able to purchase it from a more price accessible standpoint, because price is a really important part when it comes to blends. There are many of our commercial clients who purchase this coffee from us and are looking to get as keen a price as they possibly can so that they can have a profitable business. And that's an important factor for my business as well. I need my customers to make profit, survive and thrive. The La Bolsa element is there to sex up the cup profile, to tell the customers, the people who are purchasing and drinking the lattes and cappuccinos and espressos, that this is specialty coffee. It is well sourced, well roasted and expressive of origin and terroir. On a flavor profiling point, the La Bolsa adds the acidity and the sweetness to the cup and just lifts that base up and gives a nice harmony within an espresso based brew, which is where this composition is intended to be aimed for. But like with every coffee that I roast, you absolutely can brew this in any application. When I roast the coffee, I don't green bean blend, I roast each component individually. And on the screen now, you will see an overlay of the two profiles. One, the red lines being the Pantano, and two, the blue lines being the La Bolsa. The Pantano's end temperature was 218.5 degrees Celsius, the La Bolsa 218.3, so there is some close parity between end temperature, and one hopes as well color mapping as well, which I'll come to in a second. The total roast time of the Pantano is 9 minutes and 26 seconds. Why? Because it is a slightly less dense coffee and requires a little less time inside of the roasting environment in order to achieve its end color, its end temperature and total development time. In comparison, the roast time for the La Bolsa was 9 minutes and 59 seconds, which is about 30 seconds, a little over 30 seconds longer than the Pantano. The La Bolsa, being a more dense washed coffee and of a different cultivar and processing method, requires a touch more time inside of the roasting environment to develop it, to increase the solubility, but importantly, to be able to smooth out some of the acidity that's within the cup profile. Yes, I want acidity within the end brew, but I don't want it to be out of balance. I don't want there to be too much acidity, but still I need to achieve a light roast coloration. In both instances, I like to try to develop each of the coffees for 2 minutes post first crack. For this particular roast, it was 2 minutes and 2 seconds for the Pantano and 1 minute and 59 seconds for the La Bolsa. The additional development time helps smooth that acidity out. It increases solubility. It gives more texture-led characteristics within the cup as well. As you can see, I employed the pyramid heat approach for both the roast profiles, but the heat delivery was slightly different. There was a more feathered up approach for the La Bolsa in more stepped stages, in which case it was 60% first, 65, 70, 75, all the way up to 85% gas. The Pantano was a little more aggressive, so from 60% to 70 and then from 70 to 80 in a bit. Both of which tapered away at about 185 degrees Celsius in the roasting environment, and each had somewhere between 70% gas as we went into first crack. I wanted that higher gas profile so that I could push the roast and push the development to the required end temperature and still maintain the ever declining rate of rise curve, which you can see on the screen for both of the roasts, and the subsequent roast curves are a nice arcing shape. There are no peaks or troughs, and for both of these I consider the heat that I've applied to be a very even, measured way, and that is my style. That is what I like to do as a roaster. Once I roast the two coffees, I blend them together in equal components. I create a 10-kilo bin. 8 kilos of Pantano goes in and 2 kilos of the other. It's nice to have those 10-kilo divisions because it makes mathematics nice and easy. I get 40 250-gram bags and or 10 1-kilo bags out of it, and it's easy to do 80-20 in 10-kilo lots. So if I put those together, I wonder what the end color is. Let's have a look. So on the Light Tales Agtron Gourmet scale, this is 80.9 or light. Don't know whether you can see that, but 80.9 is the combined color of both of these components. Right then, let's taste. Even though this is an espresso blend, I've chosen a filter brew for this exercise because it's how I taste these in front of this video camera on a weekly basis. And I like to have continuity. It gives me a focused reference point. And in any olfactory assessment, focused reference points are very important. To that end, let's have a smell and see what I can pick up. Lots of chocolate. It's richer than any of the other single origins that I would roast. You can smell that in the cup. You can smell a leading cocoa content of the Pantano. That is gonna give you base in the cup. And you can just smell that it is something that is more developed. So let's take that first sip. Okay. So there is a little bit of acidity there, but it's very obviously less than the single origin portfolio that I roast. Now this is on purpose because this is intended for espresso brewing, and in an espresso machine you will take the characteristics and almost 10x them. So if there's any acidity inside of the cup, it will be 10 times more apparent or 10 times more bright. So the roast profile design, as you saw, was there to mute or to smooth those out. Subsequently, you don't have such an elevated level of acidity in the cup, and that then adds or leans into the texture, of which this is incredibly well pronounced. I can absolutely pick out the sweet plum-like character of the La Bolsa, and then there's this really rich and coating 55 to 60% cocoa mass chocolate. It is still clean and crisp, which is lovely for an espresso coffee because in lots of cases espresso tends to be considered as dark and dirty and rich, but this isn't. This is a light roast color, and I hope a really expressive light roast color for espresso. On the finish, there's lovely sweetness and chocolates. This is a stunning brewed coffee, and I'll talk now about how you could brew this at home. Obviously, this is intended as espresso. Fill your boots. I could talk about it until the cows come home. Do a 1-to-2 brew ratio, extract this between 28 and 32 seconds, and you'll get all of what I want in the cup. Expression of terroir, lovely bright acidity, contemporary, progressive, all of those sorts of things. It will pair well with milk. The chocolates will come through, have full fat gold top milk, and you'll get nice caramel characteristics in the cup as well. However, this is a filter brew, and I don't want people to take an espresso blend coffee and go, oh, I can only brew it as an espresso. You don't have to. You can have it in any way, shape, or form. This is a light roast. It's just a well-developed light roast. So in the cup here, I've got texture and sweetness, and if you're a person who doesn't enjoy the sort of bright and vibrant coffees that I tend to release, this is going to be a stunning one for you. Sweetness, texture, lovely chocolate finish. It would also suit cafetiere brewing and pretty much anything else. It is an incredibly versatile coffee. And that was Jones, our espresso blend that can be brewed in any single way at all. As usual, it's available online. You can pick it up from Beverley Market between 8 and 4 every Saturday. And of course, we're open at the roastery where you can come and pick up some bags of coffee should you wish. We're here between 9 and 5, Monday to Friday. I hope this has been a useful insight into how I produce a blend, how I roast the coffee, and of course, if you have any comments, pop them in the comment section below. Until next time, you have a great week. Enjoy your coffee.